Everybody loves a Honda Super Cub, right? Or is it? Stay tuned and I will tell you all about it. Hello all, good evening. You are joining me in early May 2022, and tonight was going to be a big bike reveal for me. Not a big bike, a small bike, but a new bike for the channel. Yeah, it hasn't gone well. So what I should do in this video is break it all down and tell you the story. Sit tight, it's going to be a good one. I don't understand how people say these look boring. I don't know. I think it's beautiful. Anyway, it's not about my big bike tonight. It's all about this. The tale of the Honda Super Cub. Right. Sit tight. Here we go. Right. Anybody that knows me, and obviously I've been following the channel for a while, you know I like scooters. That is my passion, really, the small stuff. And in particular, I used to like lots of Vespa scooters, but I've always really loved the Honda Cubs type bikes, the underbones. The C50s, 70s, 90s, the Honda Innovas, the Honda Waves, and the Super Cub. And for quite a while, I've been looking for something just a little bit different. And this came along on an auction website. It was a fixed price, £1,000. It's done 51,000 kilometres. It looked the right sort of price to me because they usually go for about £1,500 to £2,000. Now, it was advertised as a 1985 Honda Super Cub or Honda C50. Yeah, it's not. Okay, I'll try and keep this fairly brief, albeit it is a good story, and yeah, I think you might enjoy it because it's something a little bit different. So anyway, I paid a delivery charge, got it delivered, 240 quid, and it arrived after about a week of arrangements and what have you. And a day after that, the document arrived. On the day it came, I literally had a chance to just tuck it in the garage. It was raining, have a quick look over it. It didn't go into gear very well straight away. And to be honest with you, thinking about the price, I expected it to have a blown up engine, or the gearbox wasn't good. It was, yeah, blown up, or something was badly wrong with it. But the mileage sort of led me to believe that the price maybe could be right. And on talking to the guy that sold it to me, Mr. G, he said he was a private plate trader, and all he wanted was a private plate off the back of it and just to dispose of it. So it all sort of rung true, and I thought, all right, yeah, fair enough. I've got a friend in Edinburgh, Scottish Zoomer, on YouTube, Simon. He's a Simon as well, and we've wanted to do something together for a while. Actually, we've been talking about it, something on the scooters, the 50cc's. Have a bit of fun, maybe another channel and something like this to go along with. We built up quite a friendship through lockdown, through bits and bobs with his Zoomer, etc. And yeah, we chat quite regularly. And I thought this would be the ideal bike for me because he's been trying to get me to buy a Honda Zoomer for quite a while. Haven't you, Simon? Anyway, I do like the Zoomer, but I just want a bit more involvement. And this is why I like the geared bikes, as in the geared 50cc's. So this was going to be perfect. Anyway, bike arrives, I have a quick sit on it in my uniform, didn't even have time to take my uniform off because I was so excited. And then I put it away and it sat overnight in the garage. Next day I went to work, come home, and the V5 had arrived. And that's when the fun started. Okay, so for the purposes of me showing you bits and bobs on here, I've obviously covered up the registration, who I am and where I live, etc. Because this bike, obviously, it is going to be sold on, and it is going. But more on that in a bit. So the V5 came. Now, as I said, this bike came with a private registration plate number on the back of it, which the dealer wanted. He took it off and he stuck another plate on it. It came with a C-Reg plate, which would have been 1985. Which it says there. Now look, people, let me just, if you don't know, let me explain something to you. This bike was not made in 1985. It was made between 2012 and 2017. Obviously, it is a Honda. Let's clear that up. But it's not a 1985 bike, and you shouldn't have 1985 on the V5 document if it's not that. So I started having a look at it. Now, the engine number, which is under here, I'm not going to show you, it should start AA04E, and it does. So the engine number is correct. So I thought, great. When I look on here on the V5 document, it doesn't. It starts C50E91 blah, 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 blah. Now, you might have already sussed out what's going on here. You might not. Let me just carry on and waffle on, and I'll tell you what I thought. Now, the frame number said C5091 blah, 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 and on it goes again. So straight away, the engine number, the frame number might be right. The engine number is incorrect, but the engine number is correct for the bike. So just hang with that thought, and I'll now show you what we found. Okay, so I start digging a little bit deeper. I take all the panels off this bike, knowing that the engine number is what I would think it would be, but it's not correct on the VIN. Clearly, we've got something going on here. 1985 bike that's not, and engine number that's not, and so on and so on. So I'm looking for a VIN number. They're usually stamped on the headstock on Hondas, and it's not there. That's not necessarily, you know, a wrong thing. It might not be on there, because I know on some of the scooters they now put them on a little plate and they rivet them on somewhere. So anyway, I have a look in here, the battery area, and there was black paint in here just below this, okay, and it says Honda Motor Company Limited, moped, blah blah blah. Now, if you know about these bikes, you'll know that that was not made by Honda Motor Company Limited. It was made by Sandero Honda, which is a subsidiary company based in China for the domestic Japanese market. So now, yeah, you're starting to get the story, I guess. I start rubbing a bit more, and I speak to my mate Simon, and the plate's like on here, and I message him. I showed him the picture, and he said, go on, you know you want to. So I get the drill out, this plate comes off. We then start to rub in here with a little bit of 2000 grit and some cellulose thinners, and all the paint comes off, and it reveals a frame number. I then start digging out engines to look at fonts, the Honda font, to see what's what. And under here, we managed to work out what the correct frame number really is. And it starts AA04, which is what this bike is. Now, if I look at the bike, the foot pegs are worn. The handlebar grips are worn. And yeah, 51,000 kilometres. The screen looks like it's seen a lot of action. It kind of looks like it could be the correct mileage, but then maybe that mileage has been adjusted because this bike has been through the MOT more than once in this country. I get on to Mr. G, who sold me the bike, and he says, Simon, I know nothing about it. All I know is I bought it for the plate. I've switched the plate off. All I know is I bought it for the registration plate. He then gives me the details of who he got it from, and I get some story about this scooter was bought for a competitions company down in Devon, where you can buy a raffle ticket and maybe you win it. But when it got down to Devon, it wasn't clean enough. Yeah, maybe. And hence it then got sold on again. This bike seems to have been passed a number of times. I spoke to that fella, who we're going to call Mr. P, and Mr. P said he got it from Mr. B. And Mr. B said that he spoke to the DVLA, and they said he could put his old C-Reg plate onto a 2012 bike. Yep, just take the plate off and put it on, that's all fine. Oh, so did they tell you to put the frame plate on as well, did they? That's interesting. Right, well, look, I don't know who did what to who and everything else, but the long and the short of this is, people, I bought a cloned bike. This is not a 1985 Honda C50 LAE, as the registration plate says. That was an automatic model Honda C50. As I said before, this bike was manufactured somewhere between 2012 and 2017. Now, I didn't want to reveal any details because there is an ongoing investigation involving the DVLA, possibly the HMRC, because this bike obviously has been imported, and possibly even the police, because it's a cloned bike. So that's all ongoing at the moment. However, where does that leave me now? Well, after a little bit of chit chat back and forth, Mr. G, who sold me the bike, has now given me my money back. He's also refunded me the transport costs, and this little Honda Super Cub, kind of as nice as it is, it's going in a van tomorrow, and it's going back down to Surrey where it came from. Okay, so that's the end of the story, right? Nah, I'm going to tell you something. When I got the bike, I insured it and I taxed it because we thought it was what it was. And I took it out for a little ride, but before I took it out for a little ride, I checked the oil. And the oil was like oxtail soup. It was yuck. Now, you get that sometimes with bikes with clutches, you know, they just get dirty. But in the oil, there is some sort of, there's like a metal, yeah, a metal filing of some sort. Anyway, that's not good. And when you start the bike up, it smokes a little bit. It does clear after a while when you're riding it. I thought maybe if you warm it up, it's just the valve stem oil seals or something like that's gone. However, yeah, look, make of it what you will. On speaking to the seller, I did say to him, look, I'd be interested in just having a little play with this. And if you don't mind, I want to do a compression test on it, which I did. Out come the compression tester. And I was getting readings of around 90, 95 PSI. I did do one test with a little bit of oil down the cylinder bore, and I managed to get it up to a reasonable sort of compression. However, I think, to be fair, I've had a lucky escape with this, because that mileage might well be genuine and it might be just a little bit worn with the gearbox not changing well. I did adjust the clutch, and after an oil change, it changes gear slightly better. But maybe, just maybe, that mileage might be genuine, I don't know, and it's not my problem now, to be honest. However, this bike now will go off tomorrow, on its way, and I'll start looking for another one. Is there anything in the pipeline at the moment that I see? No, not at the moment. There is a few I'm interested in, but I just want to wait for the right one. Anyway, that's the story as it is. Right, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you enjoyed that little story, a little something different from playing with scooters, you know, working on them, etc, etc. I am going to do more on the channel soon. If you liked that video, obviously if you'd like to give me a like, I'd appreciate it. If you want to hit the subscribe button, that would be great. There is going to be stuff coming up, so maybe click the notification button as well. And I'm going to leave it there and say my usual thanks for watching, and out for now. So that's where the story ends then? No, there's more. I'm going to now tell you a little bit about what I was doing with the bike while I had it. Oh, fucking hell, that's bad.